All right, Heather Fordham live for us this morning in Raleigh. Thanks so much.
Claudine, there are still so many questions left unanswered about this senseless shooting that happened in this tight community. I want to show you what we're seeing right here. And we are on the circle of death. I'm going to show you what I learned in the last few minutes here. And this ice could have been an issue for kids walking to school. This entire area was underwater on Tuesday night from the storm. I am on the ladder truck, ladder 2, here at Durham Station 2. They told me that this ladder truck can go up about 9 stories. Justin and Caroline, I want to introduce you to Boing. He is a 7-month-old kangaroo. When you scan it, it takes you to a website that explains what this bond is for, where the money is going to, and all the different projects that fall underneath it. The average cost for a club car like this one, brand new, is between $7,000 and $12,000. One last time. Oh, hey. We got it. We
finally.
got it. The police did ask them to hold off on any vigils or ceremonies as their investigation is still active.
Like it didn't want me riding my bike, so I rode as much as I can.
Cycling makes Tom Vibert feel like he's on cloud 9. Vibert traded in his running sneakers for clip-in shoes many years ago, and besides being easy on the knees, it allows him to take the scenic route.
I would say probably over 20 years I've been cycling.
Vibert is training for a 100-mile race.
I probably ride 250 miles or more a week at this time, just to prepare to go long.
But it's not just any race. It's the victory ride to cure cancer.
So right now, it's always something that cancer tried to stop me from doing. I'd have to give up, and then I'd get back on it and start getting good at it, and then you'd have to give up again because cancer messes you up. And
in 2012, Vibert was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer.
I was on vacation, and I went to get a routine physical, and I've always had like a lump in my stomach. It was getting a little tender, and the doctor said, we need to get that checked out. 2 days after that, I was having a CT scan, and 2 days after that, I'm standing in front of a surgeon who's telling me that's coming out, and that's coming out now.
Before getting chemotherapy, he went through genetic testing. The results showed he's what they call a high MSI. That biomarker showed his cancer was hereditary.
Perfect.
After 2.5 years of failed treatments, Vibert learned that Duke University was doing a clinical trial on people with his biomarker for an immunotherapy drug that at the time was only approved for melanoma and lung cancer patients.
They said they were looking for more people like me, and I was looking around and the nurses saw I was kind of confused, and they said MSI high people, and that's my biomarker. And that's when I realized that getting the biomarkers checked the first thing 2.5 years ago was absolutely the most important thing I did, because now they're looking for that biomarker for that clinical trial.
Vibert's 2 cousins passed away from cancer. He says they take every ride with him.
And I was actually 49 when diagnosed. Had I been getting checked a lot earlier, the mass that they took out of me in 2012 was a polyp in 2006.
This year is a milestone for Vibert. It's his 5th victory ride, and he's 5 years cancer-free of his cancer that has a 5-year survival rate of 14%.
My first thought on the whole process was, here's an intruder into my life that needed to go. And it kind of made me mad. And the sooner we could get rid of it, the better. And it actually took over 4.5 years on treatments, but actually getting it, you realize that you're not in control. You better get some good doctors around you because you don't know how to fight cancer. That was the big thing. But you can do stuff to be the best patient you can be.
And for Vibert, biking is a way to take back control of his life.
You could sit in bed, or you could own it and go for a walk. So it's just a way of you controlling it and doing what you can do, because it's just, you lose control. So you got to do what you can do.
Right out the window.
It's not often that a call comes in for a fire in a multi-story building.
Fire alarm, 3044 Rosewood Circle.
But when it does, the Bull City Fire Department is ready to answer the call.
It's one of the more demanding fires that a firefighter can encounter.
Chief Richard Ray oversees the training for high-rise fires.
I wanted to be better at my job, and I wanted the Durham Fire Department to be better.
As a 25-year veteran, he's seen how the infrastructure in Durham has evolved and has been an instrumental part of changing the response.
We were doing some tactics that were a bit dated, and we reached out to larger municipalities who do quite a bit of high-rise firefighting.
Ray says they've switched to larger hose lines, equipped their ladder trucks with search ropes, and added more tactics that are implemented during new recruit training. Early detection systems have reduced the number of fires, and that means this training is that much more important.
Our experience is more of a challenge to gain it, so we have to utilize our training more.
Another challenge, the amount of crew needed to respond.
In downtown or in a high-rise building, we're going to deplete a lot of our resources.
In these situations, they're forced to call on neighboring towns for backup.
Just because we're at one event doesn't mean that the calls stop for the rest of the city.
And while putting out high-rise fires is grueling,
Life safety is the primary concern, so everything we do is geared towards the citizens.
Chief Ray says the next step is to look into how long the response time takes for these high-rise fires and if there is a certain breaking point when they get to a specific level. Justin?
This is really interesting and probably something a lot of people don't think of. It was certainly nothing I had thought of until your story. And I see this equipment there. I assume that some of this is stuff that they can use to try to battle fires in a high-rise?
Yeah, Justin, so this is the high-rise kit. There's extra hoses that are much larger. There's also this toolkit that has a special pressure gauge that they bring in with them. This is to monitor the levels of the water. Someone is there watching that the entire time. This gear is an additional 50 to 70 pounds that they have to take into these buildings with them. So you can imagine just how grueling and more difficult it is when they battle fires at this capacity.
Yeah.
Reporting live in Durham, Heather Fordham, Spectrum News 1.